Hey all, Dan again here, another Ask Me Anything. It's a new week. You can probably hear the forklift moving. We must have gotten a shipment in. Woohoo, good things. Anyway, sorry I got distracted there. Today's Ask Me Anything comes from a Twitter follower. His name is @AdamKJones. Adam, this one's for you. He asks, what considerations were taken into account when you decided on the diameter of your transducers? So, drivers. So a lot of you may not know, we actually have a little tiny speaker inside of our units, so it goes in the back of our cap like there. It goes on inside. We made a little 10 millimeter diameter speaker, basically. So there's a little voice coil and a magnetic cone and moves back and forth, all kinds of stuff. It's like a regular speaker. That's what we have in there. It's a 10 millimeter unit, and we use the same frame and the same voice coil and everything. We use the same driver actually for all of our units, but we change out the material on the diaphragm, and now we either make it out of beryllium, or we make it out of titanium, or make it out of magnesium, or we do a diamond plated carbon. Those kind of things. That's what we do. What drove us to do 10 millimeter? I'm an old hot rodder, so sue me. People say electric cars are faster and things like that. Yeah, but they just don't sound right, and I'm an audio guy. It's got to sound cool too. It's just something about a big block rumbling. Long story short, there's no replacement for displacement. If you want the biggest impact, if you want the lowest distortion, you move as much air as you physically can. So you could do a little tiny, high-strung, turbo-blown little tiny 2-liter engine, or you could go with a big block and, let it normally aspirate it, or just a little bit of boost, and it's going to blow your doors off with horsepower. Same thing with the speaker. We could have done a little, 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter diameter thing, or even a little balanced armature, and you could get sound out of it. But having a big 10 millimeter diameter disc in there, moving back and forth, displaces a massive amount of air if you need it. In other words, if you turn the volume up high enough. That gives you a very high SPL level. It also means that to displace a given amount of air, because remember, SPL is just sound pressure level. I have to move air out of the way to basically compress the volume of air in your ear canal, or to rarefy it, lower the pressure in it. So I have to have a piston that instead of barely moving, moves a lot. That means I can create a very high pressure level. It also means when I'm moving a little bit in between, the speaker, the transducer, is very, very linear. There's very low distortion. So I want to make as big a diameter as I could, and that would still fit in the ear. Doing anthropomorphic studies of the human ear, for instance, we use a lot of our own measurements over the last 3 decades, but we also have data from the military, mil standard 1472, if you're interested in that ever, NIH models, things like that. You could fit about 12.5 to 13 millimeter diameter inside the typical concha. That's this lower part of a human ear. Inside of a typical concha, very comfortably for most adults. So 13 millimeters, okay, assume I got a millimeter wall of plastic all the way around it, or for my housing or whatever like that. Well, that's 13, 12, 11, so I got 11 millimeters. I could do up to that. Let's undersize that a bit, so 10 millimeters. 10 millimeters is kind of where it came from. So it was really just driven by how big can I go and still fit inside of a human ear. Simple as that. And make one really big bad boy and you're done. So Adam, I hope that answers your question. It wasn't like, it's a magic number or anything like that. No, it's just, this is how much transducer we could stick in a person's ear and still be comfortable. So that's what we did. There you go. So anyway, as always, if you have any questions, we've got a list already. We'll just keep adding them into them and we'll choose randomly out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at Periodic Audio, or shoot us an email at info@periodicaudio.com, and your question might end up on an AMA. So there you go. Thanks. Happy Monday to you all, and we'll see you again probably tomorrow or the day after. Bye.